Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. Today, I have another treat for you guys. She is back again by popular demand. This beautiful actress, we have seen her on so many different things from Color Purple. She's also a jazz singer. She's done stage plays. Um, but now, she's on the new black, and I'm gonna say black soap opera, Beyond the Gates. The beautiful and talented Maria Howell. How you doing?
I am doing well, mister. How you feeling?
You know what? I'm feeling so good. My wife was just teasing me a few minutes ago. My wife said, "Oh, is that what we doing now?" Because trust me, 15 minutes ago, all this was great. All
Oh,
this was great.
wow.
She said, is that what we doing?" I said, "That's what we doing." I if you go back, look, if you go to my page on Facebook, because I know we
Mhm.
follow each other, you'll see I did a Father's Day thing yesterday. I just wanted to encourage young men out there that were fathers to make sure that they was instrumental in their children's lives, and you'll see the gray. And come back to that. She said, "What you?" I said, "Hey, I got an interview today." And she said, "Oh, that's what we." I said, "You know, I don't like gray in my bed, so we gonna go ahead and
That's funny.
yeah, my wife and my barber gets on me by dyeing my beard. I was like,
Well,
I'm not trying to look distinguished right now.
well, how about women? We change our hair all the time. So what?
Yeah, so what? So what? Now I don't do anything up here, so this is actually me up here,
Uh,
but down here,
yeah.
totally different. I wanted to bring you back because I was so excited to see that you were on Beyond the Gates.
Hmm.
Um, how did that come about for you? Did they just reach out to you, or what happened?
Well, like many of us, we auditioned. Our
Hmm.
representatives, saw the notices and
Hmm.
auditioned, and were blessed enough to land the roles. So simple as that.
Simple as that.
Mhm.
What your character,
Tracy.
Tracy? Who is she?
Tracy Tyler. I love her. She's
You
a
love
peace, she's a peacemaker. She's the one, the voice of reason within the group, the one that yeah, I have my own anger issues or resentment issues with
her.
Anita
Hmm.
Dupree. But overall, I am going to be the one that wants to be practical and to make sense and to say, hey, look, let's all come together and be unified, be on one page. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed the description when I think it was earlier on. I can't remember which. It might have been an episode before I even appeared when Vernon
Hmm.
Dupree was asking Anita which one is the more the church girl, and it's kind of
Okay.
so true to life, So it was me they were talking about because I was the first one that showed up
Okay.
visibly on the episode. And so yeah, it's there are some lines that I'm going, okay, were they in my life listening to me? There's some stuff that really resonates with my real life.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's in a nutshell, she's the one, the voice of reason.
The voice of real. And you know what's let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Does being on stage and doing daytime television, as you and I both came up in the era where they said soap opera,
Mhm.
um, do they mirror a lot in a sense of, when I look at soap opera, because I grew up on Young and the Restless,
Mhm.
so matter of fact, I grew up. My mother and my grandmother had me watching everything that was on CBS.
That's
So
it. I grew up that way too. Couldn't change
yeah,
the
yeah,
yeah.
could change the channel,
Mhm.
Guiding Light, As the World Turn.
Yeah.
All of it, and so those are more dialogue. It's that every now and then it might be a little catty or fight between them, but mostly it's just dialogue.
Mhm.
Is that kind of the same way when you look at that as well as theater? As far as theater, I know you have to be a little bit more loud as far as projecting, right? But I'm just talking about from the aesthetics of just the dialogue part of
And you said the word dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
because soap operas are so different than any other genre that I've done. I've done TV and film, and like you
Mm-hmm.
said, I've done some stage acting. It's it all you do, all you have time for is learning lines, really. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's constantly just getting those lines, because unlike TV and film, regular TV and film, you have a little bit of time between takes, between scenes. You may get
Mm-hmm.
a chance if you're, if you don't have a lot of, if you have a lot of scenes, you may have an opportunity to go back to your trailer. Well,
Mm-hmm.
in soap operas, no, you know your lines and you do your best to get it right the first time because it's fast paced. I used to want to do soap operas in my head because I only knew about what I heard about. Um, it's a great exercise in memorization. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, good. I'll do that. Until I had the opportunity to do it, I had no idea the weight of what that meant. Yeah, let's
It,
leave it at.
it seems like too your characters. I'm just talking all. I'm generalizing.
Mhm,
In soap opera is that you know how like in film and TV. I mean, as far as a TV show, not soap opera, where
mhm,
you know when you think it and the lens catches it and the
mhm,
audience kind of knows what you're thinking.
mhm,
Soap opera sometimes is different. Like
mhm.
sometimes you really don't know what the character is like.
The,
Is that is
like
are
the
they
suspense
good?
of it
Are they
all.
bad?
Right. Right. The suspense of it all it is something that's more of a mystique. Yeah, because
Yeah.
fast paced. And so you don't really have a lot of time to think about it. You know what I mean? It moves faster. Yeah.
I
And I
always thought about. I just remember growing up where you know how you'll have a character. Say, let's just take your character for instance. And when they see this, maybe they'll write it that way. But you could go from being the peacemaker to we're thinking something and we're like, nah, nah, she, cause she this way. And not realize and the camera's capturing your look, but not realizing like, nah, she about to turn. Nah, she
mean two different things, right? And,
right.
and also, with the writing, we're going with the writing in most of the
Mm-hmm.
time. It's like who knows? The writers might see something on one day and turn it around the next day. So we're just as surprised in some instances. Yeah.
That yeah, yeah. I was so excited because I didn't know it was so fast paced, quick pace.
Hmm.
Uh, but I knew about the dialogue and just how good or great of an actor a person has to be to come because your characters too on soap operas come off so confident. Like these characters are like
I'm taking all this like compliment.
yeah, yeah, because the characters you don't really see even when it's a character that somebody may be playing that's unsure of themselves,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
They play it. I'm talking about the actor plays it in such a way. It's like they're just confident in just what they're doing, and
I think it's a great marriage between the actor's abilities, the
mm-hmm,
writing, and the
mm-hmm.
director. So it's all a dance. You bring to the table what you have, and if it needs to be reset, adjusted, that's what the director's there for. You know. So I think it's a collaboration. You know,
I saw the scene. It was you. I keep forgetting her.
Sharon and Anita.
No, she used to play on. Was it As the World Turned or was it Young and the Restless? Um, um, it,
Anita
it was
Joy.
th- it was three of you. It was three of you in a
Okay.
scene, and she was talking about. She was saying that the three of you all, like don't look down, don't judge her because the three of y'all, basically she was saying had skeletons,
Yeah.
and she was like, we way down here, so don't be trying to look like act like you up here and look, and it was so funny because you came in the room with your character and then Cliff Davis character, excused himself
Mhm.
and let me know if I'm wrong, but when you came in and the person you came in with, her character went first. And it
Mhm.
was almost like you was sitting back, like, all right, come on now, bring it over here now, because I'm about to show y'all something. You know, it just looked like you was waiting to jump in.
Yeah, well, that again, some of that's the writing and the directing, and you just go with it how you feel you should deliver it. And you're talking about Sharon, the person that plays the character Sharon, and then
Hmm.
of course the character Anita Dupree, who is the star of the show, and her real name is Tamara Tooney, and
Tamara, that's what I was trying. I was about to say her
Mhm.
last name for Tamara.
She's the
Yeah,
matriarch. Yeah, she's the matriarch. And,
yes.
and let me put this in here too. It is
Hmm.
amazing. They are the most amazing scene partners. Tamara Tooney, I used to watch on the
Same
soap,
here. Same
as the
here.
lawyer, as Jessica. And so to be able to work with her is like it's like a master class. I told my manager, I said, this is a master class because she's giving. I worked with Giancarlo Esposito, and I had the same kind of experience where they are very giving, and they know their stuff. That's all I gotta say. They know their stuff.
I'm glad you said his name because I never can get it
Yeah,
down right. So
Giancarlo
I'm
Esposito.
just gonna say bug out. You know, I'm just
That's me trying to impress you with my 4 years of Spanish that I don't know how to speak anymore. Leave that right there.
some tell me they gonna write it in, your character gonna speak a little Spanish. Some tell me they gonna bring it back.
Un
They gonna bring it
poquito.
back.
Un poquito.
All right now. No Spaniel.
Love it.
But I've always been fascinated. The two type of soap operas I've always been fascinated was daytime,
Mhm.
right? And then of course when you had your Dallases, your Knox Landings, and
Yeah.
the because the going back, the dialogue was
Mm, mm.
so, when you look back at it now, the dialogue is just so fascinating to see. Um,
Hmm.
because it wasn't, like I said, every now and then you had, right, fights, but it was the way they was cutting people with words. It was like you said, how quick you had to be
Yeah.
once somebody said their line, you coming back, so you're making it a real conversation, like a real argument.
Yeah.
That's an art to make something look like a real argument.
Well, that's again going back to the actor's skill
Hmm.
set.
Hmm.
And if there's something that needs to be tweaked, then the director comes in, and the writers do too. Say, for example, if there's, and I'm not talking about this show, but I'm
Hmm.
talking about in general, my experiences have been, especially in voiceover work.
Okay.
You can have things on paper.
Hmm.
When it's time for someone to speak them, it doesn't flow. So sometimes people, they kind of revise
Okay.
uh, dialogue just to make it flow better. But you only know that when someone's speaking it. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Right.
It
Right.
really happens a lot in voiceover work. You know,
Voiceover. Okay. And you
More-
still have the script part as the guideline, so the person that you're acting with, still kind of knows where you are.
yeah.
Um,
Well, let me tell you a little. I'm going to ahead and give my little secret. This
okay.
secret now that I'm getting ready to tell you. But I do my best to memorize everybody's lines.
Okay.
Mine, not just mine, but everybody's lines. So that, and if I don't have it verbatim, I've got it close because that helps me understand what's really going on. It helps me with my flow. It helps me
Mm.
just know, how
Hmm.
do I want to, how do I want to react to what they're saying? That's just, I won't say it's acting 101, but it is definitely the skill set of seasoned actors. When you do the work, I work hard behind the scenes. I
No,
did.
that's good, because that, especially like in an argumentative scene, that by you knowing, even if you cutting off like a second that you
Mhm,
cut in before they could fit it, it
mhm.
looks like you said, a real argument, because
That's
you
right.
knew their line. It wasn't like you was waiting on, okay, you threw, okay, now let me go.
And now it's my turn. No, no, no.
Yeah, no.
And let's go ahead and put it out there too. The longer you live life, and if you're observant, and if you pay attention and you listen, all I gotta do, let me use my correct English. All I have to do is just recall some argument I've had in the past with somebody I know. I
Okay.
remember the emotion. I
Hmm.
remember, my intent. I remember all of that. So I use that. I use my real life in my acting.
Okay. Okay.
I think most of us actors do, you know? That's
Yes,
how
because
that's how you make it. That's how it's so much more natural.
so more
Because
natural
that's
flowing,
something, right.
and we can actually see when it's just your particular mannerism.
That's right.
Because like you may play another character,
Hmm.
not a biopic, but just playing another character, and that same mannerism
Hmm.
comes out in whatever that emotion it calls for at the time. So like you said, you get to
Got a
yeah,
storehouse. You got a
yeah.
storehouse. You got a wealth of things that you've built upon in your life. You know what I mean? So you use those things. Those are my tools.
Was this I mean, getting on Beyond the Gates and being on a soap opera, was this one of your for back better of a lack of word, like a bucket list to say this is one of these things? Because I do have somebody I want you to act with. I wish I had a script and had the money to put it behind,
Mhm.
and for you guys to play sisters. And you probably heard this
Debbie
before.
Morgan. Debbie
Yeah,
Morgan.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
People think I was actually sitting in hair and makeup and somebody thought I was Debbie Morgan. I think we favor, and she's beautiful, so I take it as a compliment.
It's here. It's here. It's the
Yeah,
dimples.
and she has deep, deep dimples.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would love that. You were going to ask me a question. What were you going to?
No, no, no. You no. That was it. That was it. Right. You already cut it. That's why I said you probably already heard it before. I don't know, something as a good good sister, bad sister, or something to that effect.
Sister. Let's start with sister. I don't mind. I'll be the
Yeah.
bad guy. I'll be the good guy. I don't care. But soap operas were not on my, that was the question. It was, I
Hmm.
think back like a long time ago, maybe it was on
Hmm.
my bucket list.
Hmm.
But I had gotten busy doing other things.
Hmm.
And then when this came up, I took it. One of the main reasons I took it outside of just loving to work with these actors, these fellow actors, is that my mom wanted me to be on a CBS soap opera singing. Can't get any clearer than that. All the blocks were checked. So all the boxes were checked, rather. She used to say that when she'd look at her soaps, and I'd sit there with her, and she'd go, "Yeah, you can be on that. You can do that. You can do that. You can sing that." And I was like, "Okay." And I just put it,
Hmm.
back in my mind. But when this came up, I'm like, I can't get any more specific than this. So,
Yeah, because love my mother-in-law watches Beyond the Gates, and she'll talk to me, and I remember she said, "You need to get them on," and I was like, "I've already interviewed her and him," and then when
mhm.
you popped up, I said, "I've already interviewed her, but I'm gonna bring her back." Uh, I did send, I did send Keith and Trisha
Mhm.
a message. I'm just waiting on them to get back with me. And Trish also was on one of my other favorite shows, called Weber's Family Business, and so just you two are one of those actors who I root for so much because I know there's something more there that has been you guys been given the opportunity to show. Let me say it that way. I know you guys can do more than what, and so because I'm gonna tell you what I did.
Okay.
I went to the casting. I said, "Okay, first I thought it was an alphabetical order, and I said, "Where she is? Oh, okay, there she is down there." Then I said, "Episodes? How many episodes?" Okay, 8. Okay, okay, they writing. Okay, they got her in there. Okay, let's get going because I was trying to make sure it wasn't one of those you just made one or two guest appearances and you was
Yeah,
gone.
I'm actually in about 15 episodes so far.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very proud of
yeah.
that because it gives me an opportunity to showcase my
Correct.
abilities. Really grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, it is so funny for you being thrust in this industry, as far as like we talked about last time, far as coming from a color purple and just that one scene and just how you own. I'm always fascinated how people just own something with a little bit time and space that they
Mhm.
have, and then you cannot forget about that scene. You
Yeah.
know, something where it's not like, oh, you was in Color Purple, you was,
Mhm.
like, not it wasn't anything like some people it's like that. You like you was in the
Well, let me go
where
back
was
and
you
look
at?
at it. Let me go back
Yeah,
and
let
look
me
at
go
it and
back and like
find
what
you.
scene?
Yeah.
What's okay? And you've always and then your ability um, with jazz and being able to sing, and when God gives people multiple talent. I'm always fascinated,
Mm.
by that. Sometimes in my conversation, I say, you knew what you were doing. You knew you couldn't give me no voice to sing. You already know I was going to be arrogant. That's why you didn't give it to me. That's why
I remember you saying that before.
I listen. Woo, if you gave me a Teddy Pendergrass type voice,
Oh,
oh,
watch that.
oh,
Watch that.
ooh. No, don't do that. Don't do. God knew what He was doing, and because I noticed that people, the gift that they have,
Mhm.
they know it's a gift. They try to make sure they honor it,
Amen.
but it's not something that they're doing every day. Like when I interview singers, and it's funny, they always say, people want them to sing, but they're like, I'm just trying to talk to you. You
Mhm.
is I want to sing, you know, and like people may run into you and remember you from a particular show or project, and with actors they want them to run a line. Like, they get paid to do this, right? They just trying to have a regular
Right.
interaction with you, and you trying to go somewhere else with
You know what? I take that as one of
it.
the sweetest gestures and compliments because
Hmm.
I have run into so many people over the years, and this
Hmm.
it's my 40th year in October of being in this industry. And throughout that 40,
Amen.
thank you. Throughout the 40 years, I have
Hmm.
constantly had people come up to me and or even when I'm at a concert, they're like,
Hmm.
"Bet you could sing this song. Why don't you sing this song?" And they're always making song suggestions. And at first I used to be like, I am not a human jukebox. Why do people do that? But then I thought about it and I'm like, that is one of the sweetest compliments, most sincere compliments, because if they feel that you can do anything, that wow, I don't think I could do anything, but they do. And I think that is it's very humbling for me. It really is.
I never looked
So
at it like that. So you're correct. I never. You
yeah,
know
that's
what? I get it. I get it now. You know what? I get it.
they
It
want
just.
to hear you and they want to hear you sing their favorite song. So that's why during the pandemic when Noel Freedman
Hmm.
and I were doing the live streams,
Hmm.
we would have a couple of shows that we would do and let people just write in whatever, send us the song ahead of time so at least I could be familiar with it. I know a bit of almost a lot of songs in life, but I may not know the whole song. So we would just take people's requests and it was just the loveliest thing. I enjoyed it.
Well,
Yeah.
you need
And
to get. We need to plug you with.
huh?
We need to plug you with Elijah Rock then.
Who? Oh, wow. Okay.
Elijah Rock.
Okay.
Um, he does more crooning, um, Tony Bennett type. Uh, the rap. Yeah, that's his.
I do a whole show dedicated to Tony Bennett.
Yeah, he matter of fact, he did a song. I forget the name of the song, but he did it with Tony Bennett's daughter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did a song, and he has a song out now. Release Memories. It's dealing with Alzheimer's because his father has Alzheimer's, and it was kind of his way, triggering and to talk in the song. And
Wow.
I just thought about, as far as you with the jazz and being able to, I said, oh man, that'd be a sweet thing that them two would
Mhm.
link up and do a piece together because I love jazz,
Yeah.
and I love the different types of jazz. And he and I were talking, and we was talking about because he has a classical background as well, and so I was asking him when does he, and same for yourself, like when do you choose to flow freely versus staying structured, with the particular song, because some of that style of music is so structured.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I
Hmm.
don't know that I hardly sing anything to the letter of how it's written,
Okay.
simply because let me go back to that 40 years.
Uh
There's some, I mean, if I sang the same song the same way for 40 years, I'd be bored out of my mind.
huh.
Let's be real. I have
Okay.
to be creative. And so, and
Okay.
with the level of musicians that I've worked with over these years, I
Hmm.
like to stretch. We like to experiment. We're beyond, we're doing gigs, and I might take a jazz standard and just kind of changing up the tempo, maybe, uh,
Hmm.
rearranging it some kind of way. We do that with our pop songs too. We just
Correct.
creating and rearranging vocally and instrumentally. So I don't know that I'm that one to have to sing the same song all the time, the same way. Now
Right.
let's say, for example, um, God Bless the Child, Billie
Hmm.
Holiday.
Hmm.
I sing that song the way I feel in the moment. Now, there are some parts of that song that are going to be consistent because I believe in paying respect to the melody of a song.
Sure. Hmm.
But there are going to be some times I'm going to veer off and do a little bit of Maria with it because I
Sure.
do believe art is that way. If I look at something or hear something, it's going to process in my head and my heart, and it's going to come out differently, you know,
Okay.
because I'm putting my layer on it at that point. So it's, and based on where I am in my life, it may take on a different tone and texture, you know?
So let me ask this. So would that also be going back to the soap opera? Then is that also like a cheat code? Because, like you said, it's fast paced and quick, right?
Mhm.
So the way your character, you played it responding to a certain thing, episode 5, you
Mhm.
get to episode 25, you can change where her response is. I'm talking about whether it's anger or whether it's sadness, whatever it is, you can kind of change it because you can give more layers, like
Well,
to
yeah,
the
it
character.
gets deeper into the character and the
Hmm.
confidence of the character. But I still, me personally as an
Hmm.
actor,
Hmm.
I like to do what's written first.
Oh, right,
And
right.
if it's, yeah, I'm sure if somebody would sit and examine episode one, the first
Hmm.
episode anybody was in,
Hmm.
uh, down within episodes, yeah, you're going to
Hmm.
see a difference. You're going to see more of a depth because you've had time to live with the character. You
Right,
know,
that's what I mean. Right, time to live with the character. So
yeah, you've
kind of
had
same
time.
thing with same thing
Mhm.
with you're saying. You know what? Let me, like you
Yeah.
said, the melody of the song, right, can also kind of be described. Okay, this is who the character is. So we're not
Absolutely.
going to change who the character is, but I can kind of change it up how she feels
Mhm.
today or
That's
tomorrow.
right.
So is it right? Gotcha, gotcha. That's
Absolutely.
see. That's what happens when you're multi-talented. See, you take these muscles, and you can just jump over.
That's a magic word, muscle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Muscle.
yeah. Eric Gimble, she taught me that muscle because I remember asking her when you play a show like when she was on Fame playing Coco. I was curious of how do you go from 1 minute you dancing and singing, right, in a
Mhm.
scene, and then the next scene, boom, you're back to dialogue, and that's the word she used. She said memory muscle. It at some point it becomes,
Muscle memory, as we
yeah,
call it.
muscle
Mhm.
memory, and you just do it. And I'm like, okay, that's a word for it.
As with anything, you do it enough
Hmm.
times and you commit yourself to it, you want to be excellent, that's what's the result is going to be, you know? For example,
Hmm.
this is a anyway, I like working with my hands. I like
Okay.
the first craft I made probably wasn't too appealing, but
Hmm.
I make a decision and a choice to keep at it, and I get better and better. It's going to get better. Nine
Gotcha.
times out of 10, it's going to get better. So it's the same thing with acting because I cringe. And I say it with all cap letters. When I
Okay.
back to when I was singing early in my career,
Mm-hmm.
it's painful as opposed to now. It wasn't terrible, but
Right.
it's hard for me to listen back. Um, I listen with love now. I've
Mm-hmm.
come to that place where I'm like, okay, embrace who
Mm-hmm.
you be, and you've seen your journey, Maria, and you've gone on. And it's the same way when I follow other actors and singers. You know,
Okay.
if you make a choice to want to grow, you grow, and hopefully and get better. You
It's
know.
funny and I know what you're saying because I've went back and looked at back in 2020 when I first started and not understanding lighting and
Mm.
I remember my face looked red and
Mhm.
I was I'm like
You
I,
understand?
I remember interviewing Michael Collier. Michael Collier said, "Were you sitting in the closet? Where you sitting at?"
Oh, he is a nut. I love him.
Yeah, the interview was good, but you start to learn different things
Yeah.
that you need to do, and that's when instead of
Right.
showing my background where I was, that's when I decided to pay tribute to the people I was interviewing and start having the pictures and the things of that behind me to do that. So you're right. As you continue to go and grow, it should look better, it should sound better,
Mhm.
because you have to work, continue to work on your craft, and so I'm like I said, I was so happy to see you get that and be on there. My final question that you said earlier, which I'm curious,
Mhm.
how do you remember your line, everybody else's
Well,
line?
I did say I do voiceovers.
Yes.
So I record everybody. I
Mm,
record everybody's lines and I use different character voices.
okay.
That's my one phase of it. The next
Hmm.
is, I mean, after I just completely read it and then I
Right.
record and then I rehearse with my scene partners. I just rehearse, I rehearse, I rehearse, I rehearse.
Okay.
By different ways. I have several levels of how I memorize, but the first one starts with God help me remember these lines.
Well, he did say he'll bring all things to your remembrance. So,
Okay. That because I look back, Otis, now, and I'll look at some of the episodes and I'm going, I do not remember learning all those lines. I
wow.
remember rehearsing, but
Hmm.
I don't remember having all those lines. I'm like, oh God, you learned all that.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
because, and that's what I mean sometimes when, people asking you to run a line for something you've been in, years ago, is
Mhm.
like you say, it's like we expect you to remember something you did 20 years ago. I know you know the line. Go and say the line.
Mhm.
And like you said, you have what you're doing now in your head. Like that's
Mhm.
what you're trying to, so
But
but
if you put me in context, believe it or not, I can
you can
remember some.
recall it.
I
You
can
can
recall.
recall
Thank God I can recall some stuff. And I won't say a whole monologue,
it. Right.
but I can recall some stuff. Yeah. Hmm.
That's that's beautiful. That's why to me, I don't think everyone. To me, there are certain actors to me that are just born to do this,
Hmm.
and then there are certain people. Okay, can be taught to do this,
Hmm.
and then I just see some people. It's just like, man, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You just need that opportunity, that breakout role, that whatever. And like I said, once again, that's why I was excited to because I know growing up watching soap operas how they can, bring different layers to a character. They can change a character up. The character can go from being crazy to now the character has been redeemed.
Right, right, right.
But what's so fun?
Somebody you think you're gonna hate, and then you end up falling in love with them. Yeah.
But you
Mm.
see it, and you know this well, and this is the brilliance of the like the writer and the actor, but you're still waiting on the other shoe to drop. Like if they were a bad character, they go, yeah, they ain't fooling me. They, you sitting at home like me. I know she crazy, and
I love how all these men are into
mm,
this soap opera. I've never seen this many men comment on a soap opera in my life,
you know
ever.
why? Because now it's about content and what
Mm.
you like to watch versus when I was coming, man, you watching soap opera? People, it was supposed to be a woman's thing. But
Right.
what they don't understand, the power of imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I saw, you know, uh, what is it, John Abbott, Chabot Cosmetics, Victor Newman. See, they all had suits on. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm a little kid trying to figure out what is it I want to do, I knew I wanted to be in an office. I wanted to wear a suit to go because that's the imagery that I saw that I gravitated to.
Resonated.
Yeah, it resonated with me. And like listen, my father was a big Larry Hagman fan.
Mm.
My daddy loved JR.
Yeah.
my daddy, my daddy loved JR, and I was more of when it came to the show Dallas.
Hmm.
I was more of what is his name?
His brother.
No, no, not Bobby. Nah, not Bobby.
Okay.
I felt like Bobby needed to be a little bit more strong. I felt like Bobby, come
Bobby
on,
was the
man.
baby.
Yeah, like, Bobby, come on. Yeah. But I was more towards Ray
Ah. Ah. Okay.
because Ray would he lived in the ranch. I'm at the horse ranch on the property. He was chilling. He had to do too much. He still was a young. He got to do all. And he was don't mess with his daughter. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I've been that way with my two girls. It's
Now
like
you're
you
bringing
if
back memories. Oh,
yeah
I remember. I remember all that. Wow.
if my wife and I said we watch Pluto TV because we stream a lot. And I said, man, if my mom was still here and she could see that Dallas and Dynasty is being replayed, she would sit and watch it like she had never seen it before.
Wow.
before, because that was her thing. Yeah, you remember back in the day, like you Friday night, you not hitting the club until you watch that show. Because you'd have to wait a whole year
Yeah.
before you
That's
could
what.
catch that again.
Well, that was during the time that everybody watched the same shows at the same time and you could talk about them. Where now
Correct.
streaming allows you to watch it whenever you want to watch it. So it's the conversation timing is different. But
Yes.
if it's a hit show, everybody's going to be talking about it anyway. So
Yeah, it was a hit show and
I
your
thank you all. I
show.
thank you all for your support of this show, this history.
Yes, yes, yes. We're gonna keep it going because we got to see more of you and the rest of the cast. And this cannot be one of those it came and went. Can't do that. Can't do that.
Uh,
So thank you for once again coming on the show, blessing us with your presence.
Absolutely.
Continue much success. I'm gonna work on that, trying to get Keith and Trish and you together. And then I would like to make a connection with you and Elijah Rock. I would love to see what kind of good music you guys could put down. So
I know his name, and so yeah, do that. Do that.
okay, all right. Well, stay safe, stay blessed, and continue doing what you're doing. And we love you.
Thank you so much, and keep doing what you're doing too. All right.
I'm growing. I'm growing. My published a couple of articles out on me, so it's good. I'll email them to you.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All
God,
right. Have a great day.
you too.
Okay.
Bye bye.